Alright, we're live.
Okay, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to Alvernia Live Chat across Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. Thank you for taking a lunch time to be with me, that we can go through some of the up-to-date topics that concern everybody, since we just passed Christmas and we're upcoming going into Chinese New Year. So the most popular thing to talk about is the three highs, namely hypertension, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high sugar issue. So today's topic is New Year, New Health, tackling the big three. Commonly in Chinese we call it Sun Gao. Yeah. So I'll be here sharing with you and answer some of your questions. So if you have any questions, please leave it in the chat function and we will talk about it. Okay, so why bother about the big three? The big three essentially are three what we call major risk factors for cardiovascular disease or heart and blood vessel disease. Because all these are like three bad guys who constantly damaging your blood vessels in your heart and your brain and everywhere else. And each bad guys are compounding on each other. That means if you only have one bad guys versus three bad guys, you know Chinese say 一山还比一山高. Your mountain adds up, and the compounding effect is not 1 plus 1 equals to 2. It's actually much more than that. So as far as possible for health prevention, especially heart health prevention, these what we call big threes are the one that we always focus on as cardiologists in everyday's practice. All right, so let's attempt to answer some of the questions. Okay, the first one come from don't know what platform, but it's called XChenYUX. Many people know their weights, but not their cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar. Which number are actually more important for heart health and why? Okay, so weights is very easy to monitor. You just need a weighing scale at home, or you go to a public gym. Even some of the public hospital will put the weight there for you to weigh yourself. You get an airport, you can jump on the weight machine also. But cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar unfortunately are not visible from the outside. So cholesterol and blood sugar has to be monitored from blood tests, and blood pressure has to be using what we call blood pressure machine to check. And unfortunately, all three of them generally has no symptoms until they cause some damage to your body. Right? So if the high blood pressure is extremely high, then only you will feel some symptoms, and by then you go and find out you have hypertension. Is kind of in the late stage of hypertension or very severe stage of high blood pressure. Cholesterol is the same. It can basically high for many years without causing you any alarm at all until it clogged up some of your arteries, and then you start to have symptoms from not enough blood supply to that particular organ. It can be, of course, your heart, also can be your brain. Blood sugar, unless it's very high, again, has no symptoms. All right, if very extremely high, you go into coma. You have passed a lot of urine. You can get very, very tired. It can be, of course, also life-threatening. But when it's high to a moderate level or mildly raised level, you completely will not know. Now, all three of them, you can say are of equal importance. There's no one disease more important than the other one. Like I told you before, the compounding effect is the killer. All right, it's why government now has a lot of chronic disease measures to try to help people to bring down the sun gap or the three highs. Because we know from clinical studies in all three aspects, by lowering them into a range that is healthy and acceptable, then the patient will do much better than someone who will just ignore their problems. A common misconception or myths people has is that oh, if I take medication for high cholesterol or high blood pressure, it will cause harm to me. They read the side effects of the medicine online, and then they will avoid taking medications. So that is actually a misconception. All the medicine we use commonly for all these three high are well tested in clinical study, and most of them has been used for years and years in our local Singaporean population. In fact, all these medicines that control the big threes are the most common medicine that a polyclinic or a GP clinic would have prescribed to all their patients, and most of the patients tolerate all this medicine very well. And another very hot reason people don't see doctor for all this is, once I start on medication, I will be on it for life. The answer to that is, it depends on you. Okay. So if you continue to be overweight, if you continue to not look after your lifestyle, then you will not. You have to be medicine dependent. But if you change lifestyle drastically, things can change very much to your favor, right? And then you can stop medicine. Okay, now we'll go to the next question. Hi, Dr. Soon. It's from interesting name, Baby Cola. Okay, my blood sugar, cholesterol, and I exercise 45 minutes at least twice a week. However, my blood pressure is always borderline. What can I do to lower the blood pressure? Very good question. Okay, you say my blood sugar and cholesterol didn't say what. Are they good or bad? I'm not sure. Okay, but you exercise twice a week, 45 minutes. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Okay, if you want to lower your blood pressure, because it's already borderline, you should exercise ideally every day. Okay, every day. Maybe you don't do 45 minutes every day. You can aim for at least 15 minutes a day. You probably will do better than twice a week, 45 minutes for your blood pressure. And I don't know your weight. Okay, weight is a very important factors in determining someone's blood pressure as well. So reverse your weight, exercise regularly. That means every day if possible. And then commonly, in Singapore, is also our sleep time may not be regular. We may not sleep enough hours. So rest is very important. Our work life in Singapore is usually quite hectic. So we do need to de-stress properly. That means enough sleep, enough rest, enough exercise. And of course, blood pressure borderline, you should also lower your salt intake. That will definitely play a big part in reversing this borderline blood pressure to normal. Okay, I hope that answers your questions. Next one, next from IG, Dream My Shen asked, if someone has brain bleed stroke before, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, does it mean that they have higher chance of a second stroke, which can be more serious than the first stroke? Answer is, if you have anything happen for the first time, there's of course higher possibility for a second time. Everything in life is the same. Okay, so it's of course yes, but it doesn't mean the second stroke definitely will be more serious than the first one. The first one, if you already have a bleeding stroke, that means you already had a serious stroke. So second one may or may not be more serious. However, to prevent a second stroke, high blood pressure, high cholesterol must be very, very strictly controlled in this case compared to a relatively healthy individuals. Okay, so that's. Oh, by the way, if you just joined us, I'm Dr. Soon Chao Yang. I'm a cardiologist. I'm a local resident of Mount Alvernia Hospital. I practice at the Heart Doctors Clinic located in Mount Alvernia Hospital. Thank you for taking your time to join me for this Alvernia Live conversation. Now, I'm going to share today about the topics of the three high, okay, the high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and high sugar. Now, we're going to the next question. Hi, Dr. Soon, does white coat syndrome means I will eventually get heart disease or stroke? Okay, white coat syndrome, just for those that don't know, means that this Instagram user, Shi Ming, is very excited to see his or her doctor. So every time see doctor, the blood pressure will go up the roof. But whenever he or she go home, it seems much better again. All right. Now, white coat syndrome or white coat hypertension are not totally harmless. Okay, they are in between the true hypertension and someone who has totally normal blood pressure. Okay, someone who has white coat hypertension does have higher risk of stroke, heart disease going long term, but a bit lower risk than someone who truly have hypertension. Now, unfortunately, there's no good medicine for white coat hypertension. Yeah, white coat hypertension is like a reflex. A lot of patients go to see doctor, they will say, I don't feel anxious, but I don't know why my blood pressure is so high, right? Because it's something that does not go through your brain, okay? So it's a reflex. It's like some people see needle, they're already frightened. It doesn't have to think to be frightened. So therefore, there is no good medical treatment for white coat hypertension. The best thing is not to see a doctor too often. Okay, so however, it is a bit harmless. Now what you can do, of course, is the same thing. You need to bring your weight under good control, have less less stress in your daily life, and sleep well at night. It will help. Now, okay, from Facebook, Alvernia Co asks, how do we define high cholesterol, as in based on one blood test results, or if the next blood test repeat is normal means no high cholesterol? Thanks. Okay, so cholesterol is taken from a blood test, right? Most of the labs in Singapore will use standard international unit now. Now, to look at the results, it's actually have to look at your health profile of the patient. So, for example, if someone is only 25 years old, the cholesterol is very, very high, versus someone who is 55 years old man who has relatively high cholesterol, but not as high as the other person. The one in the 55 years old will need to take medicine, whereas the 20-something years old who are still at generally low risk may not need to take medication. So that's how, when you go and see a doctor with your cholesterol result, he or she will ask you a lot of questions to check for your other cardiovascular risk factors, such as your blood pressure, your sugar, do you smoke or not, are you overweight, do you have family history of heart disease. So when you have all this information, then you have totality of information to make a decision whether you should talk about medication or not. For myself, I don't like to give cholesterol medicine to pregnancy age women because it's usually contraindicated if you're pregnant. So for those patients who are still in that fertile age, we usually try not to use true medications for cholesterol. Okay. Next question from TikTok. When should someone see a doctor instead of just monitoring first? Very good. Okay. So I'm not sure he or she referred to which risk factor we're talking about here. So for any of them, okay, if you have been borderline for at least 2 appointments with your doctor, it means maybe 3 months apart, like your blood pressure has been high first time and the second time 3 months later, still high, same with your sugar. There's no improvement and don't expect it to happen automatically the next one. then you should see a doctor for that. Say you monitor at home, your blood pressure is borderline high, that means your systolic, the top blood pressure may be 130 to 140 or even exceed 140 sometimes. The bottom about 80 to 90 or sometimes 90. And if that situation lasted for like a period of time, say 2 or 3 months, there's no improvement at all, you don't delay anymore, like you should see a doctor. Because if you continue to delay for another 2 years, there's 2 years of missed opportunity to treat your blood pressure. Yeah, so you should see a doctor. Generally speaking, 2-3 months, no improvement, please go and see a doctor. Yeah, and as you know, you see polyclinic, they check your cholesterol, blood pressure, all this every 2 to 3 months appointment, right? Yeah, for that reason. But once you are well controlled, they may say, oh, I only need to see you half a year or once a year. because you're already proven to be well controlled on certain medication or lifestyle. Right, okay. Now, again, I need to introduce myself again. I'm Soon Chao Yang, I'm a cardiologist at Alvernia Hospital. Thank you for joining us for this Alvernia Live Chat this afternoon. So we are sharing questions from the audience on 3 major topics called high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and diabetes or high sugar, and how it affects your health. So leave any questions in the chat function, and I'll try my best to answer you. Okay, next question. Hi, Dr. Soon. I experience heart palpitation when I'm stressed or nervous. Should I see a cardiologist? The answer is probably not, because your palpitation happened in a situation where you're supposed to get palpitation. When we are frightened, nervous, stressed, our body go through a fight and flight reactions, and that will raise your blood pressure, raise your heart rate, and therefore it's appropriate to have the palpitation. However, if you have palpitation when you're doing nothing, that's when you start to get concerned, especially if that palpitation is so obvious that and it has certain heart rate that is too fast or too kind of irregularity to it. Definitely don't delay seeing your doctor if that happens. Okay. Next, from Instagram, The Brave. Wow. Hi, Dr. Soon. My dad has high cholesterol reading, but he's 80, right? His arteries are good and clear. Does he really need to take medication? Are there cases whereby some are just okay to live with high cholesterol? Okay, at 80 years old, his arteries are good and clear. That's congratulations. That's very good. So he must be someone who is really blessed with good genes and maybe very healthy lifestyle too. But okay, depends on what medication you're talking about here. If he has high cholesterol at 80 years old, many studies shows that if you take a bit of statin, it does reduce your risk of stroke and heart attack going forward in his later, what we call autogenerate, that means more than 80 years old. So still have benefits to take medication even at this age group. But congratulations, 80 years old with very good arteries, he may live to 100. Yeah, well done. Okay, next questions. Can high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes have genetic factors involved? Very good questions. Yeah. So sometimes it's not your fault. Okay, it's a gene problem. So their patient will come to me and say, Doctor, I eat healthier than you. You know, I work out every day. But why is my cholesterol still high? Or my blood pressure is high. You know, I have these type of patients all the time actually. Yeah. All right. So but this reader is this questions is asked by some user. I don't know the name, but he's completely right. Okay. Genetic play a big part in the 3 highs in a big way as well. Okay. So you might go out with your friends and you probably are the healthiest eating among all of them, and yet you are the one with the 3 highs. So you will feel very unfair. But unfortunately, a lot of this are in our genes. It's unfair. But unfortunately, you can't change your parents. So when you inherit the genetic tendency to have hypertension, high sugar, or high cholesterol, you have to be extra careful compared to someone who doesn't have this genetic predisposition. So instead of every day feel sad, how can I have these genes? You should focus on how I can improve all this and win this battle against the genetic curse. Yeah. So we have good medicine, we have good lifestyle program, everything that can help you to win this battle if you cooperate with your doctors and follow what they advise you to, right? Okay, so does limiting salt intake help to lower blood pressure? Another user asked a similar questions. Must I avoid salty food if my blood pressure is okay? Can I just drink more water to flush the salt out? Wow, I wish you can drink more water and flush the thing out, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that. Huh? Okay, so wait, yes, if you have hypertension, salt intake is again and again proven to be a factor that make it worse. Okay, but salt intake is not the correct words. We should say salty food intake. Okay, so a lot of people just cut their salt, but they put a lot of light soy sauce on their on their food, or they go to Chai Peng store and say, "Can I have, uncle, give me more sauce, please?" Those sauce actually has very high salt, so it's not about white salt. It's about anything salty in your diet. That includes like luncheon meat, for example, or canned food. Those are all very high salt content. And if you are concerned about hypertension or high blood pressure, you definitely want to avoid those. Eat fresh food generally. Go to wet market, you get pork, and then you don't marinate with, a generous bottle of oyster sauce. That will help. Okay, your veggie, try to steam it and keep the sauce light. Usually, if veggie is fresh, it should taste very good with just a simple steaming without all this, sauce on top. Now, even when you take chili, you try to take real chili and not chili with a lot of soy sauce. That will help you to avoid extra salt intake. But you can't flush it out with water, unfortunately. But if you take certain, like Chinese tea, for example, they do have some diuretics effect on your blood pressure. So yeah, instead coffee after a big meal, maybe have some Chinese tea. That can help to counter a bit on your salt intake from the dim sum that you just took. Okay, hi Dr. Soon. This user Ruby asked, hi Dr. Soon, is it frequent headache in your late 30s, early sign of hypertension? No, the answer is I can't answer you, because this is a question that on the very general symptoms. Headaches can caused by many things. So yes, high blood pressure is one possibility, but that can be easily excluded by you checking your blood pressure. But many causes of headaches, there is like tension headache from your work stress, can be migraine, there can be like just tight muscles in your neck, from same with tension as well. Headache can come from like not enough sleep and other causes, light flashing too bright to your eyes. So you have to go through all this ideally with your doctor and find out more what could be the cause of your headaches. Alright. So does artificial sweetener help with high blood sugar? What is the impact for long-term consumption? Yeah, very good questions. Now, you often go to the cafe or restaurant that will have artificial sugar next to the real sugar, right? Or the brown sugar. Yeah, those are for like diabetic patients to use. They taste different. One, it doesn't raise your blood sugar, yes, but of course it's chemically produced. They are always concerned whether there is a long-term health effects. However, until today, there is no scientific proof that it causes any definite harm to your health. So that's why it's free to use in restaurants and any places that provide artificial sugar option. Long-term consumption, any health effect? The answer is so far no sign of any major effects. Yeah. Okay. Now, any more questions? Right. Okay. Next question. Okay. What number should we actually remember for blood pressure, cholesterol, and sugar? Oh, very good questions. Now, for blood pressure, a lot of patients will say, "Oh, for my age, what is my normal blood pressure?" Right? Actually, unless you're 80 or above, blood pressure guidelines doesn't differentiate your age. That means you are 40 years old versus you are 60 years old. The blood pressure guideline is the same that you follow. Okay, so basically anyone has less than 120 at the top, less than 80 at the bottom are considered normal blood pressure. Okay, if you exceed that and you constantly exceed 140, 90, or 90, no, doesn't have to be both, then you already have hypertension, definite hypertension, and that's when doctors will usually offer you medication. Cholesterol, again, I discussed in the earlier questions, it depends on your age, what's your underlying risk factors, what is your genetic makeup, blah blah blah, to decide what is normal for you as an individual. Okay, so it can range from like anything less than 3.6 is okay to like someone who had a bypass and or 2 stroke before, for example. These are called very, very high cardiovascular risk. We usually aim for LDL or bad cholesterol of less than 1.4. This is the latest guideline. So it has to be in the clinical context for your health, existing health. Sugar is generally all of us should have sugar of less than 6 fasting, or if after some food less than 11.1. So if you exceed that, basically you're already diabetic. When you exceed fasting sugar of 7, you're definitely diabetic. Anything between 6 to 7, you are pre-diabetics. Pre-diabetics, if you do a stress, what we call sugar stress test, and you fail, you are also diabetic. Okay, so it's always good to discuss with your doctors when you're not sure. Yeah. What numbers? Sorry, after this. Okay, so time flies. It's almost 1 o'clock. We are down to the last 5 minutes. Thanks for all the questions so far. I hope I answer what you need to know. We can take 1 or 2 more questions, and then after that we'll have to go back and do our work and eat your lunch if you haven't eaten lunch yet. Okay, now any more questions? Now, the next month will be a high risk period for bridging your big three. Yeah, because of Chinese New Year period, do you know that most Wong Lai Tak, there's big one, one piece is equivalent to 1 bowl of rice. So if you happily eat 10 pieces, you basically have the whole week of rice intake already in one session. And also, during Chinese New Year you sleep late, you tend to start drinking alcohol more than usual. All this may raise your blood pressure, and then and a lot of food are sweet, and cholesterol usually will increase because you eat a lot of biscuits and that are made from trans fat. Yeah. Okay, Dr. Soon, to lower blood pressure, are there any food or drinks that I should absolutely refrain from? The answer is no. Everything come in moderation. Okay, so to lower, I'm not sure how high is your blood pressure. Okay, to start with, if you are someone who already have extremely high blood pressure, we will be very strict with your low salt diet. That is really very plain diet. But if your blood pressure is like borderline, you still can eat your char siu from time to time. Except you need to control the amount that goes down your throat. Okay, and the sauce. It's wrong for me to tell you you should not eat durian, you should not eat whatever food. It's the amount that matters. If you, for example, you're diabetic, you still want to eat durian, right? What is my answer to my patient? They'll say, yes, please go ahead. All right, but nowadays they have this continuous sugar monitoring device that they can just stick on their arm, and they will tell them you can read your sugar live, essentially. Yeah, and if you take like one piece of durian and the sugar will stay within the range, why not? It's within the workable range of sugar intake for this particular person. Yeah, so you can eat all the food except you have to control the amount you eat. Yeah, it's probably my answer to your questions. Hello Dr. Soon, my dad unfortunately has all the big trees. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, but it's very common in Singapore nowadays to have all the big trees. However, of recent, he seems to have low blood pressure with a blood count of 9. He's talking about what? blood count of 9. Is this normal or part of the big 3? Actually, I'm not sure what you mean by blood count of 9. Blood pressure is measured like there's the 2 readings. Are you talking about 9? No, not cholesterol. Not sure what you're talking about here. Blood count, are you talking about red blood cells, hemoglobin of 9 maybe? Right, hemoglobin has nothing to do with big 3 unless your dad already have a kidney issue. Okay, if you are someone who has kidney failure, or not you, I mean your dad, then he will fail to produce enough red blood cells, and therefore it can be what we call hemoglobin drop to 9. I guess that's what you mean by 9. All right. So this is not part of the big 3. It's to do with your kidney functions. Okay. Last questions. Felicia Tan. I have a friend who is on hypertension and cholesterol medicine. He's still eating unhealthily because he said he's on medicine, so no worries. What can I tell him to persuade him not to have this thinking? Wow, this is okay. So the big 3, we also call it a behavior issue. So this increasing over the years in Singapore, the high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes prevalence has increased. A lot of reason is because of our diet changes, our lifestyle changes. Singapore now have all the international food chain or food services in Singapore available to us, and we, even if you eat Monday to Sunday every day, eat different cuisine, you can get away for years. Okay, there's enough restaurants to fulfill that. And eat out is a very common thing in Singapore nowadays compared to what it used to be. No, so he had this concept that if he's taking medicine, he can do anything he wants. The fundamental is wrong because there is other harm in this unhealthy diet that you cannot control with. He cannot control with hypertensive medicine and cholesterol medicine, right? Especially like there's a lot of oxidative stress from a lot of additive in the food that he eats. Trans fat, for example, is not going to be addressed by your cholesterol medicine. So all this actually causing harm to him, despite he taking his blood pressure and cholesterol medicine. So don't he get the wrong concept that just because he take blood pressure and cholesterol medicine he's invincible. So he can behave. He can eat anything he wants and any amount he wants. That kind of bingeing behavior will always lead to unforeseen, undesirable consequences. Okay, so now I have to do a wrap up now. Thanks again for joining us on this precious lunchtime of yours. I find a lot of fun answering your questions, and I hope that all this knowledge I share with you will be useful in your daily life. And if you have any personal thing you need to discuss more, you do see your doctors. You can come see me in Mount Alvernia if you want. There are other good doctors all around Singapore, so do not leave your big 3 risk factors unguarded or unchecked. Is the most important message we want to pass to you in today's afternoon. But thank you very much otherwise for joining us tonight. I don't see you, but have a good Chinese New Year. Okay.